Oh, good morning, my Teaserking family. Happy Thanksgiving. We'll talk about the games today. We'll talk about Friday's games and a little economics. Figure about an hour, but if there's questions, comments, we keep going. Now, I'm doing castor oil. This is castor oil on the thing. I got a little bump there, so I put it on the bump and it makes it disappear. It's almost as good as turning paper into gold. Castor oil, very, very strong. It's a good penetrator. So anyway, a little helpful hint. Real day. Happy Thanksgiving to you too. Enjoy the day. Enjoy the football. A lot of good picks this week. I think I have 6 locks or 7 locks. I have at least 5. I have 2 in pros and I have at least 5 in college at this point. I might find more in pros because I'm waiting on injuries and things like that. But yeah, so I look at the games today. Well, we'll look at gold first. Anyway, castor oiling up. You get rid of all these little cysts and bumps. It's a deep penetrator. You're supposed to wrap it, but I can't do it right now. Natural remedies always work better than medical treatments. There shouldn't even be doctors don't treat you. If I went to a doctor for this, he'd give me some bullshit medicine, which is going to rip my intestines out and rip my liver and kidneys, and it wouldn't fix it. When I went to my doctor about my weight, my blood pressure, his response was diet. He didn't say don't have sugar and carbs. He didn't explain the diet. He just said lose weight. Well, duh, really. But when I watched the holistics and they said it's the sugar and the carbs that are killing you, as soon as I stopped eating that, my blood pressure went back to 120. I lost 60, 70 pounds. And I've been fine ever since because like today, I haven't eaten yet. It's 10 o'clock. I'll have my olive oil and lemon little mix that I drink. And then I'll have, I don't know, eggs probably around noon. And I'm making salmon for dinner and watching football. It's a great day. So anyway, let's look at our gold price. And gold is at 2641, even for the day. Silver at 3022. I expected gold to be a little bit higher because of Asia buying it. Asia started buying it at noon, at midnight, and then Europe steps in. So Europe's doing the short. It's 10 o'clock now. So I don't know. The U.S. shouldn't be open today. So I would think this would be it, a little bit more Europe, and then it should just be a flat line because there shouldn't be action. But we'll see. Anyway, so let's go to football. So today it looks like for the Lions, Decker's out and a cornerback's out. They've got Hutchinson out and the linebacker out. St. Thomas has hurt his knee. He's questionable in Montgomery. But when I go in here, it just says Decker out, Montgomery questionable, St. Thomas questionable, and the cornerback I never heard of out, and another receiver who doesn't play is injured. So Detroit's starting as good as they're playing injured. Now, I don't understand Chicago. They have 2 guys on injured list. So, that can't be. If they're really playing, they can't do that. Anyway, so we have 9.5. So it started at 10.5 and it's down to 9.5 because now Decker, I don't care. You got another line. Chicago's got a good defense. Caleb's Caleb, so he'll throw a couple picks. Goff's playing. I'm sure that Montgomery will play and the other running back is okay, so they should be there. As long as St. Thomas plays, then they should have that elite offense going at home. And it's Thanksgiving, and they'll bottle up Caleb. He won't do anything. All he wants to do is scramble around because he still can't read the defense. Caleb should not be playing. I hate to say it. Maybe next year. He doesn't know what he's doing out there. All he does is take the snap, run around, try to avoid the pressure, and then he runs for 5 yards. Well, that's you got three good receivers you're not throwing the ball to. And if you do, you don't complete it. Anyway, Dallas, 3.5, 37.5 to the Giants. That went from 3 to 3.5. Green Bay, 3.5 to 47.5 against Miami at home. No snow. If we check the weather, it's 8 o'clock. It's partly cloudy and 26 degrees. So wind chill is probably 20. And the wind's 9, 10 miles an hour. Shouldn't be anything for professionals. Injuries, Miami. See, now they got a shitload. This is how the Bears don't have this. I don't understand. Let's see if we recognize anybody. Tyreek Hill injured with the wrist, but I'm sure he's playing. And everybody else is injured. Green Bay. Dobbs, the wide receivers, out with the concussion. They got 4 or 5 receivers, and Josh Jacobs injured. What is this? Injured with the rest? What the fuck? That's not an injury. And Jameer Alexander, their cornerback's out. So there you go. Now I can tell you Detroit's 10-1 in a teaser this year, and I can tell you Green Bay's 10-1 in a teaser this year. Dallas is not so good, but now you've got Cooper Rush, who's 10 times better than Prescott. So me and you can see Cooper Rush is the better quarterback, but for some reason, McCarthy can. So they play dash and lose, and here comes Rush, and he beats Washington, a very good team this year. So what the fuck? When the last time the Lions won Thanksgiving game? Probably last year. They've been getting better, but last year they lost to Green Bay, and I don't recall the year before. They were pretty bad the last few years, but this team should win. The way they're playing, they're just dominating. They're running it down your throats. The defense will be pressuring Caleb. He'll have 5 sacks at least. I've never seen a guy take so many sacks because he holds the ball I don't know what I don't think they held the ball that much in college. He doesn't know what he's doing. So it's like a drunk driver trying to drive a car. He doesn't know what he's doing. But so like I said, the Lions are 10-1, Green Bay's 10-1 today in a teaser. Minnesota's the best in a teaser, 25-3 over the last year and a half. But that's a Sunday game. 3.5, 45.5 to Arizona. We can go through the NFL lines, see if there's anything there. KC's 13, 42.5. There is a 12.5 out there. To Oakland and O'Connell against Mahomes. Oakland, a Z team. KC beat them. Well, let's go through that today. Detroit's an 18 with the 17 defense. And Chicago is an under team with a 20. So they don't score a lot, but their defense is pretty good. Dallas and the Giants. The Giants are a Z team. I'm not sure if Danny DeVito is playing. He's hurt his shoulder. I think they go to Drew Lock from Missouri. If he doesn't, he's just as bad. If DeVito's beating him out, how bad is this guy? Dallas goes to Rush. They're also a Z team with the 29 defense. So what's concerning is the 29 defense. How much of it was Dax throwing the interceptions for points or deep in the territory? So these little 10, 15-yard drives, but Dak definitely makes the defense worse. So we'll see with Rush. Although they let up, Washington scored a lot last week. What was that score? It was 34-26. But the ending was, it was an under game, and the ending was really weird. It was Washington scores, and it's still low scoring, and then Dallas runs the kickoff back. Okay, and then Washington throws an 85-yard pass. And then they onside kick because the idiot misses the extra point, and Dallas takes it in for a touchdown. So you got 21 points in the last minute of the game. Definitely, hard to say. But Dallas had two kick returns, so not sure there. So again, Dallas, I don't know. Well, their defense still let up. It was Washington's who got bad for it. Miami's an under team with the 22, but with Tua back, I don't think they're an under team. I think they're an E team. This is the problem. You get the injuries and the new quarterbacks and then all the stats together. So you got to break out the stats. You got to have the Tua stats. It was like Andy Dalton at Carolina. They were a much better team with Andy Dalton because he could score, and Tua and Bryce Young stinks. So you've got to adjust for the quarterback injury and when he comes back. However, Dallas, I adjust up with Rush, not down, because I know he's much better than Dak. And then we've got Green Bay's a B team with the 20 defense. Love's okay, throwing a lot of interceptions. I think that's just young receivers not being in the proper spot. A lot of the interceptions by the quarterback, I anticipate the receiver going to keep going across the middle, but he doesn't want to get hit, so he stops, and there's your interception. So a lot of times, I hate this business decision bullshit. Well, I didn't want to hit him. It's business decision. It's fucking football. You're there to get hit and hit. And if you don't like that, you shouldn't be playing, especially pro ball. What are you doing out there if you don't want to hit and get hit? I've never heard a football player who doesn't like to hit and get hit. What is that? Jesus, a business decision? Not on my team. You can go play on another team, not on my team. Go play for Carolina where all the guys do business decisions. Kansas City, 12.5, 13, 42.5. Oakland's a Z team, especially with O'Connell. He's terrible. 29 defense. Kansas City, a B team, 20 defense. And Mahomes. Now, after the loss, they looked like they were sleepwalking against Carolina last week. The Raiders, this is a rivalry, even though it's probably not, but it still is. So I think Oakland plays. Kansas City, I think, will play a whole lot better at home. And they supposedly get Pacheco back, which is the running back, which is good. The Seattle, 1.5, 42.5 to the JETSs. Seattle, they're both under teams, both with 22 defenses, and it's Smith against Rodgers. Rodgers, yeah, he's a strange sort, he probably doesn't like the offensive coordinator, the coach, so it's hard for him. He didn't like the Packers coach for the last 2 years, so he's a picky one. Pitt and Cincinnati is a good game. Cincy 3, 47.5. Little surprised Cincinnati's favorite. Pitt's the 18, 17 defense, Russell Wilson. Cincinnati's an over team with the 27 defense and Joey Burrow. Well, we know Burrow is going to put up points on anybody. Pittsburgh with the good defense, but gave up points. They beat Baltimore 18-16, and then they gave up points to Cleveland. Put up points on them. Hard to understand that, but it's probably a Thursday and a travel. They played Baltimore, so they're probably flat against that. But I don't think Joe Burrow puts up 38 against Baltimore, and then he puts up, what did he do against San Diego the other day? 34-27. He puts up 27 on San Diego. He'll put up points on anybody. So this should be an interesting game. Again, two really good quarterbacks. And then you look at DeVito and Rush, or Levis and Richardson and May, our next pairing. So Cincy scores a lot, but gives up a lot. So that's why we can't bet Cincy as much because they don't have the defense. So you've got to go Cincy over, like Baltimore over, but then you go San Diego under, and Pitt was under, but now they got Wilson, so now they're an A team. So you're looking to play Pitt because they're the complete team, sort of like Buffalo, sort of like KC. Real D, the Bengals season on the line this week. Um, Maybe, I don't know. They got to catch Denver and San Diego, who have the 7 wins, I think. And then there's Baltimore. So they've lost twice to Baltimore. I don't know. They might be, but they don't have the defense to really do anything. And they don't have the running game. So it's Joe Burrow to chase. And that's it. And they'll throw 50 times and I don't know, Chase will get his 5 touchdowns. But the defense will not. I think they're not going to hold Russell Wilson. So that's the problem with it. See, a good defense, San Diego and Denver and Pittsburgh and not Baltimore, they don't have a good defense this year. So Philadelphia, Detroit, fairly good defense. So that's what you want to bet on because the defense is there every week. It's the offense, the quarterback throwing 5 interceptions, then that's when you lose. But if you have the good defense, they just show up and play good defense. New England, Indy 2.5, 42.5. Indy's an under team with Richardson. He's a runner. Ben Roethlisberger made a comment this I was reading where he thinks Fields should be a wide receiver like Hines Ward was. And Randall Antoinelle. They were quarterbacks, but they knew how to run routes because they knew as a quarterback, all the routes. He says Fields should be a wide receiver if he can catch because he's hard to tackle and it just gives the defense something more to do than just leaving him on the sideline. And then when he comes in, it's obvious he's going to run that option play so they can gear up for it. So you can't do that. The defense isn't stupid. Oh, Fields is in. Watch the option play. So if you put him a wide receiver, he's hard to tackle. If he can catch the ball, he should be able to run routes. I agree with them. I think that's where you play him because you probably want him on the field. I don't ever say he's not a good athlete. Like Richardson, he's not a quarterback. He'd be a good receiver. I don't know about running back, but he'd be hard to tackle. You want him on the field, but not as your quarterback. That's my point with a lot of these guys. Lamar is not a quarterback. He should be a receiver. Good luck trying to guard him, right, with his speed. But can he catch and can he remember the routes? Anyway, so 2.5 over New England, and New England is a W with 24 defense. So they don't have a great defense. Drake May's running around like a crazy man, but they are scoring a little bit more. And Indy with Richardson, they both have like 24 defenses. So trying to figure this game out. You need a college lock? Come on. I think, at least 3 of them. Buy the locks. You can buy the college plays. No problem. Washington, 5.5, 44.5. And I got a 37 unit lock and a 31 unit lock. Love my 37 unit lock. But so they're out there. You get more than one game, but off we go. So Washington 5.5, 44.5. Off of the loss to who did they lose to? To Dallas. Tennessee comes with the Z team with the 26 defense, and Washington's went from an A team a little bit back to an over, but I think that's unfair because, again, it was a kickoff return and then an onside kick moved them from like 21 defense to 23 defense. Well, that's really not the defense's fault. Levis against Daniels. Daniels so much better. So I think Washington, they should play better off the loss. They need the game, so we'll see. Arizona mini 3.5, 45. Mini an A team, 18 defense, 25-3 in a teaser. Arizona an under team with the 22 defense. Murray against Darnell, and then where were they against Seattle? They put up a whopping 6 points. So I think if Minnesota takes away Murray from running, they don't have a chance. San Diego won 47.5 to Atlanta. When will Atlanta go to Penix? San Diego is a B team with the big defense, 16 defense, and Herbert, great quarterback. Atlanta's an E team with the 25 defense and a lousy quarterback in Cousins, and their better quarterback, Penix, sitting on the bench. You go figure that out. And you wonder why Atlanta never wins, because they're fucking idiots. How do you have Penix and not play him? What are you missing something? Houston, 43.5. Houston's pathetic. Under team with the 22 loses at home to Tennessee. How the fuck do you lose at home to Tennessee and then want to call yourself a good team? And their wins were like against Jacksonville and Indy. They were only in the division against the weak teams. They play the Lions, they get killed. They don't show me a lot. Where am I at? Indy? No, I'm at Houston. An under team, pretty good defense, but the guy I think the linebacker's hurt and out. Jacksonville's Z team with the 29 defense, and I believe Lawrence will try to play, although he's got an injured shoulder that needs surgery. I have no idea what he's playing. They've won 2 games. So I don't know what Lawrence is doing. It must be a contract thing. He sucks. I would just cut him. I don't know who'd want him. Or maybe he'd go to Minnesota with Daniel Jones. The fuck's Minnesota really that desperate to take Daniel Jones? He'll be better on our team. Yeah, sure he will. Jacksonville. So Houston on the road, I don't love. Jacksonville, I don't love at all. Not sure what to do with it. We'll see if Lawrence plays. Tampa Bay, Carolina. Tampa Bay, 5.5, 46.5. They're an over team, 25 defense, and the Baker. They got Evans back. They blew out the Giants last week. Here they get Carolina, another crap team, Z team, 31 defense, and Bryce Young. Now I was reading that the coach finally let Bryce Young go and throw the ball down the field, and I'm like, don't try to sell that shit. Kansas City wasn't interested because you suck. And he had a few good passes, fine. Where's he been the other times? Oh, we're just having him throw screens. That's your excuse? He's never thrown the ball down the field? Against this defense, Tampa Bay, he should have a decent game because Tampa's a 25 defense and an over team. So he should be okay here. But I don't Steve Young's terrible as far as I can see. Go start winning some games. The Rams, 2.5, 49.5 against New Orleans. They're both E teams, both with 25 defenses. Stafford against Carr. I don't agree with the Rams being a road favorite. New Orleans, they got Taysom Hill. Olave's playing. They got a good team. And they got rid of their coach. It's amazing how long they keep the coach until they can't realize the coach sucks. And you're idiots if you pay the 5 years and you don't know what you got. And then after 2 years, you realize he sucks. And now what are you going to do? So now you're fucked. And that's what these owners do. I would give a 1-year contract to prove yourself. You know, if you're any good, and then, or make it, okay, I'll give you 5 years, but it's based on performance. So if we win 4 games, you get $5. If we win 8 games, you get $20. If we get the playoffs, you'll get $1 million. And you'll see the coach, or you'll know he can't coach because he's got the incentive. That's how you need to pay all these guys is performance. Philly and Baltimore. Baltimore 3, and there's a 50.5 and a 51. Philly's an A team with an 18 defense and Hurts. Baltimore's an over team with the 25 defense and Lamar. This should be a very good game, very exciting. You got Barkley. Baltimore, just their defense is just terrible. I mean, Pittsburgh beat them 18-10, but they kicked 6 field goals, so they had 6 drives. Philly with the tush push, and Barkley will should finish those drives. Buffalo and the Niners. Buffalo 745.5. Allen against Allen. Frisco. Well, it might be Purdy against Allen. We got to wait, and we got to wait and see on Boza. Frisco has to win the game. I don't, teams that have to win, they're playing like shit. I'm doubting the coach is any good. He's already choked in 3 Super Bowls. So on one hand, he gets there, but on the other hand, he can't finish the job. E-team, 24 defense, which is surprising for the Niners. A lot of injuries. Buffalo's an A-team with a 20 defense. So if Purdy's out, it's all Buffalo. Cleveland, Denver. Denver 5.5, 41.5. Denver's playing very well. Bo Nix is 16-1 his last 7 or 8 games. Cleveland, a W team with the 24 defense. Now they do have Nick Chubb back, which will help. The game being in Denver doesn't hurt Denver. They're a B team with the 17 defense, but they're probably almost an A team because the first few weeks Denver wasn't scoring, and now lately they've been pounding it in. So that's your pros again today. Detroit 9.5, 47.5. Dallas and the Giants 338, and Green Bay 347. And I have played 2 of the teams in a teaser today, my Thanksgiving teaser. And that's the bottom line because Mr. Cold Stone said so. I'll check my email and see if Real D bought the logs. Ralph Lauren said, happy Thanksgiving. Gold's going down at 10 o'clock. The U.S. isn't even playing. Who's doing the derivative now? 26.38. All right, college. We're just going to look at, we got a game today, and we got Friday's game. So we'll just look at that. We got Tulane 1354.5. This is down from 14. Both A teams, Memphis 22 defense, Tulane a 17, 14.5 and 55. This is a good game. Tulane needs it to clinch. It's Tulane and I think Army to win the AAC. Then tomorrow we start. We got Ohio 1752.5 to Ball State. Ohio's a B team. Ball State's an over team with a 40 defense. Should be an interesting game there. Wisconsin 1.5, 41 to Minnesota. Wisconsin's an under team, 23 defense, and of course Tyler Van Dyke's been out all year. And Minnesota is a B team with an 18. I like their quarterback. He's playing much better. Minnesota's always have a good defense. It's a good defensive coach. So this should be, it's a low total of 41. So it's, they're thinking under also, or good defense. East Card 256 to Navy. Navy was a 1-point favorite for a minute. Navy, a B team, 23 defense. East Car's an over team, 27, and they've been lighting it up lately. Very strong offense. Navy, they should be able to put it on. They were a dog. I was going to play them as a dog, and then they turned favorite, so I got to rethink this. Prime time, 16.5, 65 to Oak State. It's a big number. Colorado had a defense for about 5 minutes until Kansas got a hold of them. They're an A team with the 24 defense, so they're actually kind of a B team, Colorado. Oak State's an over team with the 34 defense, so Prime Junior should have a big day. Oak State should have a big day. It's pretty hard to stop them. And your total of 65 up from 64. Boise, 18.5, 57. Boise needs the game for the playoffs. Oregon State, I don't know. They played Washington State fairly well. They lost to Air Force 24-0. I don't know what's going on with them. I think they got quarterback problems. 29 defense also. So the coach went to Michigan State. The new coach apparently sucks. Boise, a B team with 23 defense, but they haven't been lighting it on fire the last few weeks either. I think the number's a bit high for Oregon State. Bowling Green, 38.5 to Miami of Ohio. Bowling Green's the 18 with the 19 defense. Miami of Ohio is an under with the 17. Half the MAC needs it to win the MAC. They're not going to the playoff, but to win the MAC. So we will see. But two strong defenses in this game. This is why I do it. Nobody would have known Bowling Green's an A team with this good defense, right? But if you do it the way I do it, you see, oh, Bowling Green's an A team and Miami's an under team. They got 19 defenses. So now you understand a little bit. Forget the labels of the team names. You're looking at the labels. We're giving them under team, A team, and it tells you they got good defenses that way. Because if they had shit defenses, they'd be a Z team. Texas State 161 to South Alabama. Texas State's an A team with a 23 defense. South Alabama's a B team with a 24 defense. I blocked both of these teams against Southern Miss the last 2 weeks. I won them both, but now they play each other. It's at South Alabama. 23 defense, 24. Great quarterback in McLeod for Texas State. Gio Lopez, not bad for South Alabama. Both 24 defenses. Both get 450 yards of offense a game. So this should be a very good game up and down the field. Colorado State, 58.5 to Utah State. Utah State's been explosive the last 5-6 weeks, an over team, but with the 37 defense. Colorado State's an under team with the 23 defense. And again, we probably got to look the last 5 games, but Utah State's been very explosive, 450 yards of offense, and Colorado State 368. So looks like a live dog in this game. I don't know. I haven't played it yet, but you got a team that doesn't really score much going against this explosive team. Explosive team's going to score on you. Old Miss and Old Mississippi State. Old Miss 26-61.5. I don't know if Old Miss is still in the running for the SEC. I guess. They were last week. And did they lose last week, Old Mississippi? I don't think they played last. No, they played somebody. Who did Old Miss play? Tennessee, Georgia. Old Miss. Oh, yeah. Old Miss lost to Florida. Yeah, so they're out of it. They get Old Mississippi State 26-62. Old Mississippi State changed quarterbacks and have been scoring a lot. Last week was 39-20. They lost to Missouri, who finally started scoring when they played Oklahoma. They put up 31. Hence the Alabama play, because Missouri puts up 31 on Oklahoma, and you're telling me Alabama can't put up more than 3 points? I mean, Milrose must suck. I mean, or Brady Cook's incredible quarterback, which he is. So Old Miss, I think, is out of it with 3 losses. So this will be an interesting game, and they have a killer defense. So I don't know what to do with this game. I think Mississippi, I mean, Old Miss with the 34 defense. Old Miss, or Mississippi State with the 34. Old Miss is going to score a lot in this game. The question is, what does Mississippi State do? Against this defense, they're not going to do a whole lot. Georgia didn't. I don't see them. They put up 20 on Missouri. I think they'll be lucky to put up 20 here. But it is a rivalry, and strange things happen. Sam Houston and Liberty. Liberty 2.5, 47.5 to Sam Houston. Sam Houston, a very good team, a 20 defense. Liberty, a B with a 24. I think this is just pretty even. Sam Houston's beat a lot of good teams this year, and they're at home. Stanford, San Jose State, 2.5, 54.5. Stanford's a W team who played Cal Strong and beat Liberty, and then they beat somebody last week. And San Jose State is an even team with the 26 defense. So they've been playing okay, nothing terrific. Iowa, 3.5, 40 to Big Nebraska. Nebraska's an under team with a 20 defense. Rayola sucks. Iowa, their quarterback's out. McNamara, their backup. He's nothing special, but they got the great running back. So there's the Iowa running back, the Kansas running back, Neal, and Gentry at Boise. These should be 3 of the top 10 draft picks. I don't understand how people think you don't need a running back in the NFL, and yet who's got the running backs? Henry, Barkley. The Lions have some running backs. All the good teams have running back. Green Bay, Minnesota, all the winning teams, because you have balance and you don't know how to defend them. They're going to run Barkley. Oh, no, he's going to throw to A.J. Brown. You don't know how to do it, and you can't possibly defend everything. That's why you have a running attack. How you think it's all passing is the same idiots that think you go for a 4th down every time. Harbaugh should be fired. Baltimore Harbaugh, because he went for it as 4th and 1 at his own 16. If a coach is that stupid, you shouldn't be coaching. That's ridiculous. You cannot. It's the San Diego. They have a great defense, first of all, and their offense isn't, Kansas City. It's not Mahomes. It's not Joe Burrow. So I don't buy. I think you're out of your fucking mind to go for it. Greg John, happy Thanksgiving to you. No, I'm not having turkey. I'm having salmon. Detroit sounds good today. Raiders suck. They got rid of Josh Jacobs. Well, they got rid of John Madden's more the problem. And they don't have Stabler Bolitnica. And they moved to Vegas. So I still call them Oakland. Because if I call them Las Vegas, I don't know anybody that would know who the fuck I'm talking about, including me. Georgia Tech, Georgia 1951.5. Georgia obviously is an A team with an 18 defense without a running back. They're all injured, and they've been passing the ball. Georgia Tech's a very good team, very live dog here. An E team with a 23. They lost to them by like a touchdown last year, so look for Georgia Tech to definitely play in this game. And our last game, UCF 9.5, 46.5 to Utah. Utah, an under team. They had a backup quarterback. He got hurt. So you got Cam Rising out. You got Rose out. So they're still with Wilson, who stinks. And UCF, just the power running team. But they were an over team with the 27 defense. I don't know. I don't know how to rank this game. Was it 46.5? Anytime I get the explosive against the strong defense, I never know which way to play it. Normally the defense can shut down the offense, but normally what happens is the defensive team, their offense plays well, and they keep the ball away. And so you just don't know how to score it. We'll look at a few games. On Saturday, just a few. Michigan, Ohio State 20, 43.5. That hasn't moved. It's a triple revenge. Ohio State's lost 3 straight, but Michigan, it's their do or die for the season. I'm not sure. Ohio State against Penn State didn't show up. Against Indiana, didn't show up last week. They only scored 17 points. They got a punt return, and the idiot dropped the punt with a minute left in the half. All he has to do is catch it and kick it like out of bounds up 50 yards. And then, Ohio State maybe gets a field goal on it. So, I mean, that's where Ohio State got their point. Otherwise, they scored 17 on a really good Indiana defense. Indiana's defense is a 16. Michigan's defense is a 21. Michigan knows how to play them. Michigan has no offense. I understand that. So I don't know. I haven't pulled the trigger on Ohio State yet. It's not one of my plays or my locks. I just really don't know what to expect. They really haven't beaten anybody this year, Ohio State. 35-7 over Iowa, over Michigan State. They should have been in the 50s. There's something wrong with their offense. So I'm not sure what to do with them. Pretty good defense, I guess. 10 defense, pretty good defense. So Michigan probably won't score much. What will Ohio State do? But Ohio State's out for blood. That I know. What else? Clemson, South Carolina. Clemson 349. Very interesting game. Southern Miss. Troy plays Southern Miss this week, 17.5. But Troy's an E team with a 29 defense. See, when I lock Texas State and South Alabama, because they are explosive offenses and they put up 50 points, I don't trust Troy, although it's only 17. They should accidentally put up 28. Should be enough, but their defense sucks. So I don't know if I can play Troy the way I played Texas State and South Alabama. But it is the art of war. I'm betting against Southern Miss because they suck. Let's see. Miami, 10.5, 67 to Syracuse. Should be interesting. Syracuse could win the game. They're a pretty explosive team, but their defense is weak, as just like Miami's. Arizona State. Arizona State needs it. This is a revenge game number 2. Arizona State, 8.5, 9, 53.5 to Arizona. Notre Dame, 7.5, 51.5 to USC. Very interesting game. Alabama, how do they react after looking like a high school team last week to Oklahoma? That's an embarrassment. Oklahoma, like I said, Missouri put up 30 points on them. Tennessee beat them. Ole Miss beat them. Alabama puts up 3 points on fucking Oklahoma. Are you kidding me? So I don't know how pissed they are or how good they are. I mean, with that performance, I would expect them to play well, but Auburn's pretty good defense. So I don't know. I'm not interested in Alabama right now. Let's see. What else do we got? I don't want to get into too much Saturday. Indiana, and it's not a revenge game, I don't think. 28.5, 29, 56 to Purdue. Interesting. Florida State. Florida 16.5, 45.5. They should kill them. Oklahoma goes to LSU. Bobby will be there, 6-47. Oklahoma will be flat as shit, just like BYU after their big game. Oklahoma, sky high, beat Alabama. They won't show up in this game. Iowa State, 2.5, 51.5 to Kansas State. Very good game. Oregon, this is a double revenge from 1 year because they lost to Washington twice last year. And that shows you how good Penix is because they beat them twice. Oregon, 18-50.5 to Washington in a big revenge game at Oregon. Texas, 5.5, 49 to A&M. This is A versus A. You know what to do. Virginia Tech, 7.5, 48.5. Vegas against Nevada, all the rivalry games, 17.5, 55. BYU in a must-win, 13-41 to Houston, who's not that good. And that's it. So I remember when I was a kid, and I told you this story, but I'll repeat it. It's Thanksgiving. So on this weekend, you got Arizona State, USC, UCLA, Michigan, Ohio State, Cal, Stanford, Washington State, Oregon State. I bet 22 dogs, and I won 21 games. I had 22 teasers, teased the dog at every rivalry, and they all won. And I went 21-1. And the bookie, that was it. The bookie couldn't take it. Now, if he was smart, he would have said, fuck, I want Howard's play. Like you guys, you want my plays, right? You pay for my plays. He had them all for free because I'm betting them. All he's got to do is take my plays and bet them, and he'd win a fortune. Instead, he says, "Oh, the FBI is monitoring my phone. I can't. I got to quit." I bankrupt the bookie, basically, and I was never so proud in my life. I've done that to about 5 bookies. They're not smart enough to understand to take my plays and bet them. Instead, they don't think anybody can do what I do, and therefore they go ahead and I start kicking their ass, and then they go, "Oh, okay, that's enough. I can't. I'm quitting." Or they're not quitting, but they don't want me as a customer. Instead of, you just shot the goose laying the golden eggs. What the fuck are you guys doing? But I'll never forget that. 21 out of 22 teasers I hit. All the dogs came in. Oregon, Washington, every big rivalry, Michigan, Ohio State, the dogs always the play there, except for the last few. Well, last year was probably, I had Ohio State as the dog, but it's predominantly take the dog in the Michigan, Ohio State game has made the money since 1969. Happy Thanksgiving, Alex. Hope you're well. Have a good Thanksgiving. If you want the class, let me know, and then I can give you today's plays. I played 2 of the games today. Raiders, okay. Cheryl Taylor. Hi, Cheryl. Welcome to our class. Poke root and organic castor oil, great for cysts and swollen lymph glands. Thank you, Cheryl. Yeah, I got castor oil on mine, and it's on so I got the little bump, and it doesn't hurt, but I just want to get rid of it. So yeah, I use it. It's also good for hair growth. I'm going to try that. I'm losing a little too much on top, but apparently that with coconut oil and castor oil, mix it up, put it on your head, leave it, and the hair will grow back. So I haven't tried it, but if what's her name? If Barbara O'Neill says it, I will listen to her. Greg and John, Daniel Jones went to the Vikings as a B. I know that, Greg and John. So let me know if you're buying, Alex, and I'll send you today's picks. A lot of locks this in college. I think I have 5 or 6. Well, let me look. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 5 locks, and it could be 6. We will see. And I got to add a few games because I'm just getting into it. The pros, I have 2 locks. Well, 1 lock with 2 teams in it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Again, I have a 37 unit lock and 31. And the most I've done this year is 31. And they're not just numbers. They're just, it's the stronger feelings I get for the bet, the higher it goes. And usually I don't go much over 30, 31, but this 37. And it's my lucky number, 37. So that's where I'm at with it. So that's pro and college. Again, I played the 2 pro games. The Lions have a few injuries, but I think St. Thomas is going to play the receiver, and Montgomery, I think, will play. They'll take the needles. They'll go out there, do it for the team. Goff, Chicago with a pretty good defense. Sweat will be after Goff a lot today. But our ace in the hole is Caleb, who just sucks. He'll be sacked at least 5 times today. He just isn't any good. So it's the Bears defense keeping him in. Watching the Minnesota game, Minnesota had him like 27-10. And then they started playing prevent. So it got 27. No, it was 24-10. Went 24-16. Can anybody explain why you would go for two when you're down 14 instead of kicking the extra point and being down 7? You missed the extra point. You missed the two. Now you're down 8. Can anybody explain the absolute moronic logic to that? Because I don't know what it is. How do you not kick your extra point? You go down 7. And then if you want at the end of the game, but it's not easy to get the two. You're going to miss the two probably 80% of the time. And especially when the other team knows you're going to do it, right? You can get away with it early in the game. They're not prepared. But once the game's in the fourth quarter, you're not getting a 2-point conversion. It'll take a miracle, probably 10%. So kick your extra point, go down 7. Then you score. Then if you want to go for 2, but I guess you think that if you go for 2, then you won't get it. And then you'll look like an idiot because you've lost the game by not kicking the extra point and going for the tie like Cincinnati did with Baltimore. The coach should be fired for that. You got Joe Burrow and Chase. You're going to overtime, fella. You have no worries. You're going to overtime. No, you go for 2, you don't get it, and you lose the game, and it's your fault. So this is the problem I have with these coaches and Harbaugh going 4th and 1 at his own 15-yard line. Are you fucking kidding me? And you're still the coach. Wow, he's a moron. Some coaches are complete idiots these days in regards to going for 2 and going on 4th down. Well, the problem is they don't know how to coach. If you notice, you got all these strange offensive coordinators you've never heard of. It's called like Dennis Allen. I never heard of him. He was New Orleans coach. He sucked. It takes them a while to get rid of them, but they finally get rid of them. The Bears coach, who the fuck's the Giants coach? Where are you getting these coaches? New England's coach never coached before. Miami's coach sucks. You go down the list, and they don't know what they're doing, and so they listen to analytics. And analytics says go for it on 4th down because it's 51%, but it's a macro look. It's not a micro look. In other words, when I say that, it's the overall. Oh, there was 100 times they went for it on 4th down and they made it 51. So it's 51%. They don't go into against whom. You don't do it against Baltimore and San Diego and the better defenses, Kansas City, Pittsburgh. I ain't going for 4th down against Pittsburgh. I ain't going for 2 against them unless it's absolutely. I'm down, 9. I get the touchdown, or I'm down 8. I get the touchdown. I got a 2-pointer to tie. It's the only time I go. But the coaches have no idea what they're doing. So that's why they're listening to the analytics. It cost the Lions the championship game, and I won't shut up about that. They'd have been in the Super Bowl if the coach knew what the fuck he was doing. All he had to do is kick his field goal to tie the game up. Then whatever Frisco did, they scored. The Lions could have answered it. But now you're down 10, and you didn't kick. You're down 3, and you didn't kick the field goal, so you're still down 3. And don't act like it's a sure thing you're going to get the 4th down. That's twice he didn't get the 4th down. If he would have just kicked field goals, the Lions would have easily beat the Niners and gone to the Super Bowl. It's the bad coach. The coach is to blame. And why are you going on a 4 against the Niners defense? What, are you out of your mind? Oh yeah, you're gonna do it 1 in 100. You're gonna get the 1st down on a 4th and 2 or 4th and 3, and especially in field goal range. Especially you're down 3 to tie the game up. What are you, nuts? You gave him all the momentum on the first try. This is the problem. He doesn't know how to coach. He doesn't know what he's doing, and therefore that's why you lose, and that's why you don't make the Super Bowl. I don't know. Lions are getting a lot of injuries here. They get a few. Now, the best thing that can happen is Goff gets injured because Hooker's much better. So they won't. They'll actually improve if Goff gets hurt, but they can't afford like St. Thomas today. He's questionable. You start losing him, and you lose Decker, the tackle, and Montgomery's injured. Okay, you have some backups, and it's a pretty good scheme, and you're lucky you're only playing the Bears, but you got Green Bay, Minnesota, Buffalo coming up. You can't handle those teams without those guys. Sent you money for the classes tomorrow. I'll check in with you tomorrow. Got to get ready and head out for the day. No, I understand. That's why I'm doing it early, but let me I'll send you the pass. Well, I'll send you the pics and the password so you don't have to go to the site. But happy Thanksgiving. Thank you very much, Alex. Just 1 second. All right. Anybody else who wants the class, please do it now. You want to get today's picks. And like I said, I've got basically 7 locked teams. Alex, you got it? Yeah, this is going to be a very good week. Uh, I love today's game. And then I got 7 locks this weekend that are like not a problem. Like they just, I just looked at them and it's like, yeah, these are gonna, these look really strong and good feels on them. And then there's other games that I'm still thinking Ohio State, Michigan. So that's not even played yet. However, it will be played. Um, so Cheryl, any other medicine? I do talk from Barbara O'Neill. So there's cayenne pepper is very good thinning your blood, so you don't get strokes and heart attacks. I just add it to my salads. I add it to my chicken and my steaks, my salads. The Celtic salt. I just eat that. I just take 2 or 3 grains and then drink some water. A lot of the times, a lot of our problems are from not enough water. But you don't drink a glass like this. You just take. You should take like 5 minutes to drink your water, but you need, I think it's like 5 or 6 glasses of water of 12 ounce. I think it's 4 12-ounce glasses of water in a day. Your body sweats it out and just doing, your food comes in, your body's doing that. That's a lot of water. And so I think a lot of our illness comes from not enough water. Basically, we're dehydrated. So drink your water, but have your Celtic salt because it gives you 82 minerals. So today you probably want that. What do we got? 11 o'clock. So let's go another half hour. The game starts at 12. Um, we talked about gold with Egon yesterday. All the central banks are buying it. The U.S. is doing their little derivatives. Let's see what happened after 10 o'clock here. 26.38. So it made a little bit of a drop. I don't know where because the U.S. is closed today, I believe. 26.38. So it's in that pattern. We know it's worth a lot more than that, as is gold at 30.23. We know what's really going on. So anyway, again, football, it's team personality that we do. We understand if they're a good team or a bad team. You want to bet against weakness. You want to bet on strength. All art of war. That's how you win a war. You look for the weakness of the army and you attack it. You stay away from the strength, and that's what I look at in a lot of these games. Um, Like Cincinnati, they got Joe Burrow. Their strength is they're going to score. Their weakness is they don't have a defense. And so you play those. That's what you're looking at when you play it is, but since he played Baltimore, I locked that because Baltimore doesn't have a defense and their strength is their offense. Cincinnati's strength is their offense. So two good offenses with two weak defenses. Now, the problem is when you get good defensive teams. So if they play San Diego, it was hard for me. I ended up taking San Diego Monday night, not the over with Baltimore, although I think the over was good. But I couldn't take the over because of San Diego's strong defense. So I ended up taking San Diego, figuring, well, they got Herbert. Baltimore's got a weak defense. San Diego's going to score on them. They did. Baltimore surprised me by putting up 30 on San Diego, which made me more conscious going, oh, okay. Well, if Cincinnati can put up 27 on San Diego and Baltimore can put up 30 on San Diego, what are they going to do to regular defenses? They're going to light them up. So as we know, San Diego must win. Denver must win for the playoffs. We got Cincinnati needs to win. So we understand that, and that's what's going on is they must win. And you kind of look at, that's part of the equation. That's why AI can't pick games, because how do you factor that in? How would they know they must win? Because they're just computers. I have a big problem with AI. I don't know, all these stocks, Nvidia is so high. They don't have profits. I don't know if they have earnings. So yet everybody's putting their money in the stock market. Well, when the Saudis sell their dollars and they got a lot in the stock market and the banks, it's all collapsing. So that's happening soon. So we need to take our winnings and buy gold with it. And it's very cheap. Silver is really cheap. So definitely go buy silver. Anyway, I don't think I shot a picture to Daria. Maybe I did today. So I love wishing Daria a happy. No, I gotta say. So Daria is a Russian, so I wish her happy Thanksgiving. Now I know they don't have Thanksgiving there, but let's see if I can find a turkey. Anyway. So anything you want to talk about? Let's go. I know a lot of people are Thanksgiving it, so I'm going to end this very soon. And I'm cooking salmon tonight, after the Lions game. I think I'll make omelets now and then salmon for dinner. I got a pumpkin pie, so I'm going to do something Thanksgiving-ish. I'd get a turkey, but it's just, a 10-pound turkey. I'd be eating it for a week. So I really don't want that much turkey. I did buy steaks, but that'll be later in the week. The New York strips. So as I was explaining yesterday, everything we do is a free trade. It's a fair trade is what we do. You buy my picks because it's a fair trade. I give you winners. I make it at a price you can afford, not too high. I try to find my market. So the key is to find the market. Okay, if I'm going to sell Canadian Club, as I like to talk about because I work there, if I'm going to sell this, what is my market going to buy it at? So I can look at other whiskeys. That's the beauty of competition. I go, what's Seagram's going for? What's Johnny Walker going for? What's Dewar's going for? And if they're all about $60, $70, then mine will be $60, $70. I can see what people will pay for things at. And that's really what you're trying to do. So that's where competition helps you, is it shows you the price. Most companies are just too stupid to understand that. I'd say 99% of the companies are going to go broke because they don't understand the dollar's worthless and they need gold. That's the big problem. They just don't. It's the culture. They're all Keynesians. They're all believe the money's never going to go bad and, gold's not worth anything. And they're all going to go broke and gold's the way out. Now we know the gold price is not a fair trade price right now. Rolex is. You see a Rolex for 100 grand, you give the 100 grand because you feel it's worth 100 grand and it's going to go up because it's limited. And you see a Mantle card and it's 85,000 and you go, yeah, that's fair. It's a Mantle card. It's a 9. It'll go up. But with gold, it's not a fair trade because it's for us, it's a fair trade. For the seller, it's not a fair trade. He's selling something worth $25,000 for $2,700. For me, I get something worth $25,000 for $2,500. So it's more than a fair trade for me. But for the seller, he doesn't get it. It's not a fair trade. He's giving it away far too cheap. He doesn't understand it. I've talked to him about it. Thanks for selling me the physical gold at paper gold prices. And it goes over his head. And so that's what you look for in life. You look for something that is much cheaper than it should be because COMEX and JP Morgan have price fixed it. So you take advantage, and that's why the whole world's buying gold, because they're getting $20,000, $30,000 an ounce gold for $2,700. Look at the dollar. It's gone. It's lost 99% of its value, and in my mind, 100%. And with that said, you have, you're supposed to fair trade. So I bought New York strips yesterday because they were $10 a pound, which they're usually 17. Okay, it's Thanksgiving. So it was a fair trade for me. I'll give you $10. I'll give you this crap. I'll give you 10 Monopoly money for a New York strip. Okay, that was fine. I bought 2 of them. And I just got to be careful because my feet get hurt when I do too much red meat. So you can have a little at a time. But I used to buy roast for Thanksgiving, 3-pound roast, but I can't eat 3 pounds of meat. I need to spread it out over a week or so. So the steak I'll eat, and then I'll eat. I had them packed separately, so I'd eat one steak probably tomorrow, and then another steak in a week or so. And I got a big salmon. Now salmon's no problem, and I'll put the canine pepper on it, and I'll put the Celtic salt on it. I do it and the Celtic salt's really tasty. It's not that it doesn't taste. And if you ever take cayenne pepper straight, lemon will diffuse the burning sensation you get having cayenne peppers. It's really hot and it burns, but the lemon will calm it down. Lemon and olive oil every day, so that's good. But again, back to fair and free trade. Free trade, there shouldn't be anything. It should just be, here's money, give me the Mantle card, give me the Rolex, give me the gold. That's why you don't want the taxes. Are bullshit. And the government says, well, we have to run the government. No, you don't. You have too much government. Government shouldn't be in schools. Government shouldn't be as corrupt as it is. Government shouldn't be in defense contracting. Government shouldn't be creating wars that they don't want to. You want to fight Putin? Go fight Putin. Biden and Putin go into a wrestling ring and go fight. Why are you putting an army at risk? Why should we die? Because you're too stupid to be in a war? I mean, that's insulting, really. But it's all It's all fair trade. So you're willing to give up money. We do it all the time. We go to a restaurant. Well, that's $30. That's too much. I'm not gonna. I'll buy this dish. And the grocery store. Well, that's really expensive. I'll buy the Meyer brand, or the Kroger brand. It's cheaper. So we do that all the time with what we think is fair trade, and that's really the whole economic system. You get money, even then you go to work. It's got to be a fair trade. How much you going to pay me? You pay me 20 grand, I ain't going to work for you. You pay me 50 grand, I'm not going to work for you. You pay me 100 grand, I'm going to work for you. So that's fair trade, right? I'm worth X, and it's hard to figure out what you're worth, but you're worth X, and the company has to figure out what you're worth. And if you meet, you work there. And if you don't, if it's too low, I told the guy when I interviewed for this job, I said, well, if you only want to pay me 75,000, when GM calls for $100,000 job, I'll see you later. And we both don't really want that to happen. I don't want to get to your job and then leave it, but I'm a business, so I'm going to go and just give me a fair offer. And he did give me a fair offer. So that's what you do. So everything we do in life is fair trade. The girlfriends, the flight to Vegas, the girls in Vegas, everything is fair trade. How much do you want? No. But if it's a fair trade, then you're like, yeah, I'll give you a couple. I'll give you some money, and we'll go date. Then it's fair. It's got to be fair for both parties. So you can't insult them with $20, but they can't insult you with 1,000. So that's what you do. And it's the same thing with the plane there. I'll take Spirit, $300, fair trade. Although I notice with the airplanes now, the economy class doesn't include luggage. So now they broke it into, I'll give you this real cheap fare, but if you want to take luggage with you, then now that's not included. We know food's not included. However, going to Europe, you can I took my gym bag plus my suitcase. They are included for European travel. I got stopped at the desk at United going to Italy, and she said, well, no, it's not free. The carry-on's not free. And I said, yes, it is. And then somebody else came up and said, yeah, he's going to Europe. It's free going to Europe. So if they ever catch you at the gate where you have the carry-on because you're going to Europe or Asia or somewhere, just tell them, no, I'm going to Europe. It comes with, because it does. But, there was a new baggage handler who didn't know what she was doing, or ticket person. But that's what life is. It's about free trade and fair trade. How much money do I want to buy something for? Golf clubs, 200-300, and they're all selling for 1,000. I probably won't buy them. Now, if I can get a set for 200-300, then I'll buy it. Now, I don't know. I haven't bought golf clubs in years because I have Hogan Apexes from 1984 that are I'll never change. So that's what you have. It's what you think it's worth, and then you look at the competition. And if you see golf clubs at 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, then you go, well, I guess I got to pay 1,000. But if you see, that's what the judgment you're making. You're seeing things. Should I get the Bumblebee tuna or the Starkist tuna or the Meyer brand tuna? And you see the difference is 20 cents. You go, no, I'll get the Bumblebee for the 20 cents. But if it's $2 more, you might get the Meyer brand and then taste it. And hopefully it doesn't taste like crap. I did that with butter. They didn't have the Land O'Lakes, and then they had this Meyer brand butter. And I go, well, but it was only $3. I go, well, I hope it's okay. And if it's not, I'll just throw it out. I did that with an onion. I didn't like it. It just tasted bad. I threw it out. I don't keep eating it. But that's what you're looking for. So you're comparing the competition for substitute goods, and you're seeing what it is. And you do it at grocery stores. Where I get my meat, I don't buy my veggies because they're $4 for red peppers, then it's $1.50 at Meijer's. Well, it's a fucking red pepper. What do I care? I'm going to wash it off. So I'll tend not to get stuff at, because the meat grocery store, Bush's is very expensive for their regular foods. However, the meat is cheap. So the meat's the lost leader. It used to be milk would be 99 cents and but really it's $2 or $3. And so the meat is cheap. I got the steak was $10. Well, I'm not going to find that at Meijer's or Kroger's. And you can choose your own, which I love. Go, oh, this one's really nice and red. I'm taking this one. So that's what you're doing that constantly with jobs, with your girlfriends or boyfriends, depending your sex. You're basing it like Carmen. She wanted $500, $500, and I was like, "Fuck you, Carmen. It's too much." She priced herself out of the market. It wasn't worth the 500, all the time. Um, I don't know where they get the nerve to ask for 500, to tell you the truth, but that's what you do. And, you don't mind spending on the girl on her birthday, on Christmas, but not just a random month here, I need 500, so that's the problem. So everything is based on what you're willing to spend for things, and you're using competition to see. So you're competing with me. So what are the other handicappers at? But then you got to look at the quality of my picks. And I'm giving you a lot of picks where a regular handicapper might be a little bit cheaper, but he's giving you one pick, which he's probably right 50% of the time. And I'm right usually 75, 80% of the time. And that's the difference. So you're willing to pay more because the trade is well worth it. You're going to make more money with me, and that's what it's all about. Similar with attorneys, CPAs, attorneys. You need an attorney. What does he charge? $500 an hour? No thanks. I don't care who you are. And then you find one for 200 because you think, well, it's an attorney. He should be able to get the job done. But you're doing that with gas in your car. You're doing it with food, clothes, everything. And that's how the economics works. That's Austrian economics. In Keynesian economics or communism, you don't have the choice. You don't have the competition. They just mark, oh, you want bread? It's $10. Take it or leave it. That's why people starve in Zimbabwe and in Venezuela and Greece and these countries where the massive inflation has gone on. They put in price controls to contain the cost, which you can't do because then nobody's going to supply it. It's not going to cost me $10 and my selling price is $5. I'm not going to do it. I need to get 15 for my selling price. And if the government puts price controls on it, I don't make it because I'm not going to make it to lose money. And that's why the shelves are empty. And then everybody starves because there's no food for them to buy because this idiot put price controls on. But that's the problem. The prices get too high and you can't do the market, and the government sets the price. So in the price control in Venezuela, well, let's say turkey today. Oh, it's $25 for the turkey. Or he's $5 for the turkey, but there's no turkeys to buy. So the government is acting as the market, and only we can be the market. Me and you are the only ones that know what me and you want and know what price we're willing to pay for. And if we want to substitute, we are making all these decisions. We're economists. The government cannot tell us what to buy or what to pay for. Look what they're doing with gold. Look how they fucked up gold. 20 or silver, $30. What are you kidding me? It's at least $1,000 an ounce is probably the true value of silver. With all the demand for solar panels and electric cars, and that it's real money. And yet the government, JP Morgan, keeps it at 30. Again, the mines can't even mine it because they don't make enough because their costs are so high. So there's really even less silver because they're not even digging it out of the ground because it's not worth it to dig out. They can't make money on it. Now, I blame them. They should set their own prices and sell from the mine instead of COMEX. But you can see when they try to keep prices down, what happens. Now, the difference in gold is Russia and China can mine. They have a lot of mines. Canada has a lot of mines. So, that's what happens. And what's pissing off China and Russia is they know the gold's. So when they're buying the gold, they don't mind because they know it's really cheap. But when they want to sell it, they know it's not $2,800. So it's not a fair trade for them to sell it at such a low price. So that's why Putin's coming out with a diamond and gold precious metals market, which will get a real price on physical gold and diamonds and silver, and it'll be 10 times what it is now, because Putin doesn't want to sell it for this bullshit 2,700, and he knows it. Same thing with Xi. So so now that they have it, they want a real price, not this bullshit price. We keep the price down because we don't have any gold. So we don't want our people to get rich and buy it. So we're going to keep the price low. And if you understand what they're doing, it's a steal. You're buying $20,000 gold for 2,700. Where's the line? How much can I buy? I mean, because that's exactly the same thing with silver. You're buying $2,000 an ounce silver, 1,000 somewhere up there for $30. Where's the line? How much can I? It's all you can eat buffet, and that's what you're doing. So keep that in mind. Everything is about fair trade, which means it's worth 100 to me. I'll give you 100. I won't give you 300. It's worth 100. But if it's worth 100 and you're selling it for 50, I'll buy it. And that's what you do when you see the sales. So you'll see pop, let's say, for $2.95. Well, that's not worth it. And then it's buy one, get one free. So now you're buying two because now the second price is worth it. I do that with the dark chocolate. It's $3.59 now. It's too expensive. It's not a fair trade for me when it should be about $2. But they put buy one, get one free, or get one 50% off. I think it's buy one, get one 50. So now it's $1.75 and $3.50. It's 5 1/4. So now it's like $2.75. Okay, that's a little bit more fair trade for me. And I like the dark chocolate. So I do that. So most of the stuff, you just look at the price going, okay, I need it. It's, I need my veggies. So you're kind of whatever the price is, although you might buy it at Meijer's versus Bush's, at a better store, a cheaper store, because it's just red leaf lettuce is red leaf lettuce. I don't, why should I pay more for it? That's where you're not, they don't get it. Why would I pay you more for the same thing? It's not any better. It's just red leaf lettuce. It's just a green pepper. Why would I pay more for it? So they got to prove quality for it. And that's where this organic stuff is. Anyway, that's why we buy gold and silver. They're far worth, to get out of the money. As my new saying, instead of getting out of the Titanic, we're going over a waterfall. You either stay on the boat and go over the waterfall, or you get onto the lifeboat and you don't go off the waterfall. And the gold's the lifeboat, as it was in Titanic. And the dollar is the boat going over the waterfall, or the Titanic going to sink. And so you got to get off that. And so really that's the first thing. And then the only lifeboat is gold and silver, not the euro or the British pound or the Swiss franc. They're all going over the waterfall also. So that's where we're at. So that's what you're trying to do. And you're buying gold and silver, not only to get out of it, but because they're so cheap, they're not even close to the real price. The physical price is much higher because the demand's huge. The supply is low, and you see Rolexes for 100 grand. You see a Montana rookie for 100 grand, and gold's 2,700. Does this make any sense to anybody? Because it makes no sense to me. How the fuck can a Montana card and a Rice card go for 100,000, but gold's 2,700? Yeah, I don't think so. So just use logic in a lot, and then try to understand if it's very limited supply, means there's not a lot, and the demand from all the central banks, Russia, China, and India, and Saudi Arabia. If all this demand is there and there's not a lot of supply, as I was sharing Egon with you, if you didn't watch yesterday, watch it, or the day before I shared Egon. Basically, 93,000 tons of gold is in jewelry, and then central banks have another, I don't know, 30, 40,000, I think. And then the private sector has another, that's China and Russia's private, has another 30, 40. At the end of the day, there's nothing left. It's already, once you've made it into jewelry, now I think you can melt it back into coin. You can melt, can be melted back into raw gold and then made into a coin. but not into a bar. You need a lot of it to go into a bar, but that's what you can do with gold. You can keep melting it. So if there's only 201,000 tons available and about 190 are already used, where are you going to find it at? So the price is bullshit. So as often as I can go to my gold store, or you can go to your gold store, A, you got to get out of your dollars, but B, it's the sale of the century. It's extremely cheap. So take advantage of that. You can't lose in it. It's not a $2,000 an ounce thing. It's bullshit. Only in the US, because we don't have any, we're trying to keep the price down. I have really no idea why. They think if gold goes up, then nobody will be in the dollar, and JP Morgan has the monopoly printing dollars because he runs the Fed. Well, I don't know. I don't agree with that. Most people don't understand gold anyway. So I don't know if gold went to 20,000 an ounce. How is that any different than the Montana card at 100 or the Rolex at 100? So I don't buy that. But if you have a monopoly on printing money, even though it's worthless, you don't want to lose the monopoly. So you want to keep the competition, which is gold and silver. That's the whole point of that competition, and it doesn't hold water. It doesn't compete. Gold and silver are so much better than the dollar. It's a joke. So that's what you want to do. All right. Any questions, comments? Real D, you're not buying the college lock? You need a college lock. Well, they don't grow on trees and they're not free. So I can't help you, Real D. You gotta help me here, and I help you. It's fair trade. So the fair trade with you, Real D, is I get cash for the lock. That's a fair trade. What you're trying to do is not a fair trade. You want it for free, and that's not a fair trade for me. I don't want to give you something that probably wins 80% of the time for nothing. I'll give it to you at a discount, which is what I'm doing now, but not for free. So that's the problem. Titus is he'll be in Vegas, I think, tomorrow. So we like Titus to win a lot. He's a good tipper. Anyway, so that's what's going on. So enjoy the football games. Again, Detroit is 99. Let's take a last look at gold in the football. Gold shooting back up, 26.41. I don't know who's buying and selling now because the U.S. is not open today. It's Thanksgiving. And silver, 30.27 is pathetic. Let's look at the lines. And we'll just look at the pros. Detroit 9.5 and 10 and 48. Dallas is 3.5, 37.5, and Green Bay is 3.5, 47.5. So nothing's changed. I'm not expecting snow in Green Bay. It is cold, but I don't think that's a big deal for those guys. I know they're from Miami, but I'm not really expecting that to be an issue. And Detroit 9.5 and 10. Let's see if there's an announcement on St. Thomas and the other guy on the Lions, Montgomery, St. Thomas. Bears Lions live update 6 minutes ago. Caleb Williams, yeah, we know that. We know that. The Lions, yeah, we know that. Get to the fucking injuries already. What do you think I'm looking at it for? Seriously? You're not giving me injury updates? Montgomery's still questionable with the shoulder. St. Thomas is questionable with the knee. Well, yeah, that doesn't help Uh, Davis, the cornerback's out, and Taylor Decker, the left tackle's out. Okay, so I assume Montgomery and St. Thomas are playing. I don't know. You're not. It's not. What kind of update is that? I believe I read yesterday they were updated. So it's 12:30 on CBS. Streaming on Paramount. Who the fuck's gonna watch Paramount for the game? All right, so I don't see anything. So Yahoo kind of gives a better update. So they got 10. It's 9.5. The Bears' problems, Caleb. He sucks, basically. He takes the ball and says, "Hey, G, I emailed you today's picks, and then the locks start on. I don't have a lock tomorrow. I have a lot of locks on Saturday and Sunday. So if you're buying the locks, but there are a lot of there's a lot of games tomorrow. I have some plays tomorrow, but Saturday's the heavy duty and Sunday. So that's really where it's at. So anyway, you got today's games. Happy Thanksgiving, G. Um, Now, Real D, she's buying the locks. That's why I'm giving her the game. You're not buying anything. Don't take advantage. Don't kill the goose laying the golden eggs, Real D. You've got to, you want a lock, you got to pay for it. Just like G and Alex, they all pay for it. What do you want me to do? Give you the lock and make them pay for it? You think that's fair? I don't want to piss off my customers. So that's not a fair trade for me, just so you know. That's how economics works. Anyway, I think that's about it. So enjoy your Thanksgiving. Turkeys, chickens, ribs, steaks, whatever you're making. I'm making salmon. Steaks tomorrow, I think. Well, I'll see how long it takes me to eat the salmon. Salmon, salad, pumpkin pie. Sounds yummy. Uh, and that's it. So I got to fill in my teaser stats. I know Minnesota's 25-3, but Detroit's 10-1 in the teaser today. Green Bay's 10-1 in the teaser today. The Giants and Dallas, nothing. Miami's not a good road dog, and the Bears, they're not a great road dog either. Detroit's as good as a home favorite. So I'll give you the teaser edge of it. But again, I picked two of the games I bet. So, and they're in the same teaser. Normally, I like spreading them out, but that's how I do it. And then we have two locks already in the pros on Sunday. So have a good Halloween. Have a good Thanksgiving. It was just Halloween, wasn't it? It's amazing how quickly that goes. It'll be Christmas tomorrow and then New Year's. And then we'll be watching the Super Bowl. I mean, it all is just so fast. So buy your gold and silver as quick as you can. It's way undervalued, and the dollar is going over the waterfall or on the Titanic. It's sinking, either one. But when you explain it like we're going over the waterfall or the Titanic, people tend to get over the waterfall going, if you hold your dollar, the boat's going over the waterfall. So if you hold your dollar, you're going over the waterfall. And I said that to a guy at work, and you could see he got it. He's like, where do you buy the gold at? I know they get it when they ask me, where do I buy the gold at? And I go, it's 5 miles away on 5 Mile. And he's like, oh, okay. So anyway. So have a good day. Enjoy the football, and I'll be back tomorrow. What do we got? I don't know what time the first game is. I'll be out probably 11. They're probably noon games for like Colorado's on. Well, let me check. I can check that out right now. Your screen, gee, is so big. I'm having a hard time seeing the bet. Yeah, that looks fine. Yeah, that's what I did. Same thing. Although I'm a point higher in the first game because I already did it at it where it was. No, it's fine. I was able to figure it out. So no, that's fine. That's exactly what I did. So not too much. It's not a lock. It's just it's Thanksgiving, so we're gonna have a bet out there. But I mean, Detroit's killing everybody, and Chicago's got a good defense, which worries me a little. But their offense with Caleb is terrible. So Minnie had them 24-10 last week in the fourth quarter, so they're not going to score a lot. And they'll put up, if Minnie can put up 27 on them, Detroit will be in the 30s, and then so we'll see. But again, I'm scared of good defenses. Detroit played San Diego or Pittsburgh, I would think they would. The Buffalo, will not a great defense, but a good one. So will Denver, they'd probably have trouble with. Anyway, we'll see what happens. But have a good Thanksgiving and take care, everybody. So enjoy the day, and I'll be back tomorrow. Oh yeah, I was gonna look for the games tomorrow. Let's see. So the first game is prime. Yeah, it's at 12 o'clock. So the games are at 12 o'clock tomorrow. So I'll be on at 11, I think. And then we can talk economics after that. So anyway, that's it. Have a great day. Have a great holiday. Just enjoy and relax. Go buy some more gold and silver. That ought to put you in a good mood. All right. Take care, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. www.teaserking.com. You can buy some locks and make some money and buy some gold and silver.